I got scared there for a little. Okay. Oh, there it is.
Ezreal for Viper here. I was going to say Viper has grown so much. I mean,
not locked yet.
He looks like a different person as he's returned to the LCK. He's seen so much. He's won a world's title. You know, he's come back to Korea to try to do it here in the LCK. And a lot of respect. You know, a lot of players have questioned whether they want to return to Korea or not. There's a lot of career opportunities in China, but Viper said, you know what, I'm coming home. First draft pick for Faker at first choice here, and making a splash. It will be his Ezreal. It is finally locked in.
Yep, for Viper. Maybe we see a Callista here.
That would be fun.
Deft certainly can pilot that. Viego going to be the choice in the jungle, most likely.
Does seem to be the case here. And see what comes with it right now. Again, the Yuumi doesn't feel that great at this moment in time, but it does feel crazy that it's gone completely through 2 drafts with no bans.
Yeah.
And this is, of course, from our world's perspective and how strong the champion can be in isolation.
It feels like we're not going to see it here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it anymore for sure.
Ezreal Yuumi, Kaisi Yuumi.
Nope.
Not really the best of lanes.
Willer potentially looking to lock in the Lee Sin here.
Yeah. The junglers are like, yeah, it doesn't matter what's, you know, what format's happening. We're just going to play the same 6 things. It's fine. You can just ban whatever you want. You can pick whatever you want.
Though. Gwen, kind of an old favorite of Dudu's.
Yeah.
Morgan, also a great Gwen player.
And a lot of the counters taken away.
Yeah.
Too, right? No Akali, no Renekton. Something we used to see.
Is it time for Jace? No, it's just going to be the boring Gnar pick. Don't do it, Chovy.
Gwen versus Gnar. We have this insane, this awesome format. It, like, is supposed to produce new, like, combinations and cool new picks.
I think it's really cool, though, because going back to what you're saying about how, you know, versatile the champion pool was in Worlds, at the end of the season, like, this could have been almost like a normal draft, you know? I mean, not the positions of where these picks are, but these 6 champions. And this is with 20 other pretty meta champions removed. We could still have this, which just really goes to show that the game has changed a lot. And even the most recent meta, which won't be the strongest as we move into 13.1, is still pretty viable, still pretty fun, still still pretty optional to pick up here. Is Peter's Nautilus, you know, Effort's Nautilus, one of the more controversial picks he played when Peter wasn't playing. And now Peter will get to try his hand at it this time around.
Yeah, Kaisa Nautilus should be pretty strong down on the bottom side. You can even potentially lock down the Ezreal. The Braum feels very nice into what you're looking at right now. Just go ahead and pick that one up. Very nice defensive pick.
However,
but it is Beryl.
Okay.
Beryl Leona. He does have a skin.
Yep, he
does not use.
No, he usually doesn't, but one of the more famous Leonas of the modern era of League of Legends, post-modern, if you will, and, you know.
Is that the official title of this era?
I think that's the era we're in right now.
Okay.
Faker's Twisted Fate!
It's TF for TF!
Oh my god. The prophecy is real.
We heard you like TF, so we put TF in your TF.
Oh, Chovy's like, well, Galio. Now this...
Yes.
This would be fun. Okay, now this is Chovy throwing a gauntlet. He's going to do it, I think.
He's going to do it. Yeah, he's going to do it.
Showmaker-esque call to make here. Of course, no D+ Kia members in this tournament.
Good catch there.
Outside of Deft. So Showmaker was often the one to challenge Faker with the Kassadin pick. We've seen it go both ways, actually, in that matchup over the last 2 years. Going to be Chovy this time around.
Yeah, and everybody's expecting Kassadin to be very strong, right? I think a lot of the new items / old items that are back in the meta, the certain builds you can go on Kassadin, you can even go tanky Kassadin, right, with some of the new items. And again, old items. And Rod of Ages, very good. You know, he gets an extra level very quickly. He had some changes to his kit as well. What do you think, Wolf? You think Kassadin's the new mid-meta pick?
I think we are still too early to tell right now, but I think that he is definitely going to be more of a niche pick that you absolutely can mix into drafts like this. And I think that, you know, we've seen a rise of Syndra a little bit on the preseason patch as well. Just control mages in general are kind of king right now, and the amount of engage that you need in this meta, especially with all the bruiser threats, is pretty important. But this is a more direct approach here from Chovy. When have a ton of damage in the late game, if we can get there, plus that extra level if he opts for the Rod of Ages, one of the reasons why people are raising eyebrows at Kassadin a little bit right now. But up against this Twisted Fate, this is a well-rounded, almost evergreen style of composition here for Team Faker. A lot of rotational power, a lot of side laning opportunities with the Gwen TF131. And if Willer can actually keep Faker in a pretty safe spot in lane, keep him ahead to push down that Kassadin, Chovy will have a tough time. And I think Deft's composition here, a little bit tougher to pull off in team fights. Not an easy comp to actually make work. You've got some engage, you've got high damage, but it's not a comp that works as well together, I think, as Faker's does.
Chovy, I think a lot relies on how well he can get through the lane and how much of a late game threat he can be, as is always the case with Kassadin team comps, but especially with what he's got around him. As let's go into this one. Faker's back on TF. He has gone Cull. He's playing against Kassadin, so pretty free lane. Not a bad choice, especially because TF's can certainly go for, you know, more hybrid builds. It's kind of fine if you have some ADs, whatever.
Yeah.
You can just stack it up, get as greedy as possible.
It's like he's got his passive twice when he kills him.
Whoa. Is that too much gold? Or
no.
Just enough?
No. Let's see if he took Dematerializer.
Any Moss friends enjoyers?
Yeah. Hey, with these meta melee junglers, the Moss Stomper is the one you need.
Does he really stomp? I mean, I feel like Moss Stomper was a questionable choice.
Well, the weird part about the name of Moss Stomper is it's M-O-S-S Tomper, basically.
Yeah.
So it's Moss Tomper. It's not Moss Stomper.
Yeah,
or it's
I noticed that as
Mo's Stomper. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, Mo's a pretty cool guy. I don't really need to stomp him.
Just for confirmation, no Dematerializer here.
Yeah, this is just the way it's going to go.
This is the way it's going to go.
Baker's going to harass, and Chovy's going to try to survive, stick around in the lane, try to farm as well as he possibly can.
Really curious to see what Chovy builds here. Because, you know, I've seen all sorts of wild stuff in solo queue, but I usually trust Chovy's opinion more than what you see on certain websites I won't mention here. For the high win rate, I'm like, what about the Chovy build?
Yeah.
Let me look at that one.
What is the best build, actually? I don't know. Kassadin did get changed a little bit in his kit. Mentioned it before. His E is no longer the same where it gets, you know, charges with spells that are used around him. It's just the cooldown gets reduced by spells that are used around him. So it has a much higher cooldown now because of that. But also, especially in team fights, you're going to be getting that off like over and over and over and over again. So
while you're also flying around,
yeah,
like Yoda in the prequels.
He was very nimble with that guy.
Yeah. Chovy just trying to harass here, as you say, and keep the CS numbers low.
Imagine counter jungling in 2023.
Yeah, well, we'll steal some of them with the shockwave. Frog battle.
Yeah, they gotta like drop. They gotta drop their weapons and just. Just begins.
Moss Stomper wants to fight.
Barrel is he's just doing barrel things. I mean, this is what the Leona is meant to do. Just get in the face of his opponent. Not much else is going to really happen down here. I think there will be more action than if it were a Braum, of course.
True.
But...
Clips is pretty strong. They commit
heal. Peter's getting pretty low, and Viper going for the auto. He's going to get aggro here as maybe a trade back, but yes, Deft will be able to get that trade back. And at the end of the day, this is a good trade for Team Deft and for Deft himself.
Flashes for it. He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. Double kill for the Kaisa.
Yeah, and that cleanse from Deft guarantees the Barrel's reliant on getting that stun to make sure Viper gets out. He flashed forward to get that auto, so you know that you're going to end up getting a ton of damage done. You know that Leona's there for you with that extra stun onto Deft, but Deft has cleanse. He cleanses it, has the flash for the chase. Ezreal's cooldown on his E is just too long at that stage to get him out of there. So what looked like a really amazing calculated play from Viper, and I think we can still give him credit for that, does end up getting punished here as they commit the heal forward. Flashes for this, gets the kill, and then this is the moment where he flashes for the stun, but it's instantly cleansed. And then he gets the full stack of passives here with his autos, flashes, gets the double.
Yeah, and you know what happens next. And now Viper doesn't have flash. He is Ezreal, but let's see if he can even get close to the wall. The answer is going to be no. Perfect time from Cuz. I mean, that is just pristine. Right when it's pushing in, they can even freeze it here if they want.
Cuz can use the Ezreal shift, too, to get over the wall.
Oh, that bottom lane is just over.
It's nasty now. It's not looking good. The kill was also Barrels, by the way, I believe, with Ignite there when he flashed for it. So Viper's aggressive play doesn't pay off. Now he does get an early Sheen. Yeah, but the early Noon Quiver feeling much better right now for the 2-0 Kai'Sa. You know, sometimes the play backfires.
Yeah. Sometimes you just get too aggressive. Maybe a little bit too much time spent in the LPL. Okay, that was my one. That was my one for the year. That's it. That's the last one. I respect Viper. He's a great player. Actually, I think he would have. Yeah, he would have been fine actually if he didn't take the turret shot. Right? He was pretty close to not having to take that, and in that case, it wouldn't have even been close. Like Def would not have gotten any kills in that case. So, jokes aside, here is Team Faker going for the Drake.
Yeah, Faker teleported bottom, didn't use his ultimate, so still has that here, but this is very greedy.
Yeah. Again, their bottom lane is kind of getting crushed right now, but at least as of this moment exactly, somewhat item parity for the bottom lane, I suppose. Steph still has to go back and spend some money.
Jovi gets a lot of pressure relieved during this moment here. He's finding himself about 20 CS down nearly. Faker looking for the greedy ward clear again. He'll be fine. But like last time, does not actually get the last hit on the ward.
Yeah. So yeah, a little bit less slippery than the Akali.
This is a really calculated play from Faker to teleport bottom, though, because he has his ultimate, so he can head back to lane. Doesn't need to use it inevitably here, but actually had the lane pushed out enough because he's winning that matchup so hard that he could actually send himself over there, look for the contest on Drake, and then come back mid. Neither team ends up with a Drake at the end of the day, however.
We just panned to the top side for just about 3 to 5 seconds, and that was like the first time of the game. It's like, okay, yeah, you guys have seen Gwen versus Gnar. Anyway, let's look at the more interesting lanes.
I love.
It's so funny how we just go back to comfort.
Yeah. I love Peter coming over here and getting that cannon minion here for Chovy. Again, relieving the pressure, getting him that extra money, taking some time to roam while Deft is backing. This is the punish. Gets on the Viper here before he can close distance on the wall. Peter has the follow-up hook. Very clean punish. And the gold lead for Faker right now is massive. Consider that he has Cull gold on top of the TF passive on top of a 20 CS lead. And the Cull's not finished yet.
It's pretty decent, yeah. Morgan getting a little bit caught out here. He gets clipped just a bit. He has to flash the Sonic Wave. So that's going to be the end of the flash here on Morgan. He's going to have to TP back to this lane as well. So, a bit unfortunate for him. Was at the end of his Mega Gnar there when he did go for the trade.
Yeah. So pretty big lane advantages here for Team Faker, keeping themselves ahead in gold despite the kill deficit here. But Deft's squad will grab the first dragon of the game, and yet again we're robbed of the Chemtech Soul. Guess we'll have to wait for the other show matches in the other regions to see that one.
Yeah.
Not happening here tonight.
Now, bottom lane here is it's going to be totally in control of Deft and his buddy Peter from solo queue. And they're not quite going to be able to push a turret plate, but it's fine. They're still getting an immense amount of pressure. They're denying farm away from Viper. still keeping him very far behind. He's going to hit those Ezreal spikes a little bit slower in this game. It's definitely a game that could go longer, though. You know, this is, you do have a lot of proactivity in the comp of Team Def, but it certainly takes a little bit of time to really feel confidence, to start grouping up as a team, and to look for those opportunities.
Chovy has his Catalyst now and starting to stack that tier. So, you know, we're kind of getting to the point where we know where he's going with this build, and this is going to be a pretty big spike for him in the lane because it gives him a lot more sustainability. Viper seen on a ward here. Like he wanted to come up and potentially look for a gank and control of this Herald, but doesn't actually need that much extra control. Just is going to go over to Willer here without a hitch. A lot of money in his pocket.
300 gold. As now they're trying to move up to the top side here. We do have Meganar about to spawn, and no flash right now for Dudu. He's in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to try to somehow weasel his way out of this one. He's going the opposite way as, okay, he's not going to get hit by the dredge line, but it does not quite matter as can't run away forever. Not against those champions.
Yeah, no leeching Leer, so there was no way he was really going to be able to survive long enough there. You could see Willer was coming over, trying to set up for the kick knockback to give him some extra time. Doesn't take the Q. Viper going to grab, during all of this, an extra plate, so they don't hard contest the Herald. And he grabs money here. Herald goes over to Willer. Yes, Dudu dies for it, but you're feeling pretty good about what you've got on the side of Team Faker here across the map. This is going to be a little painful, though. A lot of CS lost for Dudu.
Yeah.
Teleport almost ready as Willer's trying to pull this back.
Yeah. Delay some of that. It is a cannon wave, so should just lose the one melee. And after all, Team Deft still enjoying the bottom lead at least. They did get that early Drake. And here's another look at poor Dudu.
It looked like Willer was going to be pathing up here to help defend him and then potentially look for a Herald drop with Faker taking ult, but Faker can't ult through because Caston's on top of him. You can see that on the minimap, and you know, he started blue buff, so unfortunately Willer isn't close enough to actually delay there for the Faker ult to come through, and if they end up winning that exchange, 3v3 top side, they can grab plates, and the Herald play is obvious if they can make that happen, but they weren't all on the same page. Didn't know that rotation was coming, that's why Dudu got kind of caught with his pants down a little bit, had to ghost early.
Yeah. There was like that one opportunity where he did dodge the dredge line as, okay, let's see what Chovy can get done here. Stun card does come out, and Chovy just going to back away. Doesn't know exactly what's on the other side. Maybe got some pings of barrel nearby as well. So, I mean, he doesn't really have any damage. Actually, none at this point in time, so he's just chilling. Just farming it out. And Viego, another one of those annoying champions for Glenn, which is really can't get away from it. As here we go, we do have the TF up on the top side. Now it's going to be Morgan in trouble. Still no flash. He is able to get Willer back there, but it does not matter, as he will be made quick work of. Nice trade back in the top lane.
Willer using that Lee Sin Brain, you know, get the execute damage there. Probably would have liked to give the kill to Dudu there, but will guarantee it and locks it down. Picks up his first of the game.
Kill secured. Well done.
And going to be the Herald drop right in the mid lane. Right after that, Faker will pick up some extra cash here. Should be able to get a ton of plate money. I mean, Faker has so much money right now.
He got 2 plates. Or actually, I guess the one. But the 2 plates stick it down. But either way, getting a ton of damage to that mid turret as well. This is one of the issues of the Kassadin, right? Which is maybe why it's still a little bit early. Game not exactly panning out the best here for the side of Team Deft outside of the bottom lane. As Ingo's Deft trying to make quick work of the bottom lane. Able to get the flash out of an Ezreal is always pretty nice. As now Barrel in a little bit of trouble. There's not much help, but TP is coming in from the side of Team Faker as the X flash over the wall. And now they re-engage, and now everybody from the side of Team Faker's coming in. As Chovy's looking for the shutdown in that back line, but he just doesn't have any damage. He will eventually pick it up, and the Kai'Sa Deft just pick up another one on the front side of that fight. So 2 kills to the side of Team Deft.
Yeah, this is massive. I wonder if this is enough for Chovy to buy that first item here. When he backs after this wave, we don't have a look at his gold right now, but he's got to be getting close. We're hitting the 14-minute mark here, and he wants to be getting it soon. He is looking for a back right now. A lot of time bought there by Barrel. In that exchange, his Glacial Augment slowed everybody on the chase, but there just isn't enough damage, unfortunately, for Team Faker to get out. Chovy trying to push this wave. Looks like he just needs a little bit more money. The timing of this is so critical for the Kassadin. Faster you get it, faster you can get your 16. The Def commits here to the ult, forces out a flash, but then he's up here pretty far. And then I think the idea here for Team Faker is, look, I've got Twisted Fate, I got Teleport, but by the time Faker can TP in, the damage has been done. Glacial Augment buys a ton of time here on the collapse, but look who shows up. It's Chovy, and Chovy has insane mobility, even at this stage of the game. He's level 10, doesn't even have 11 yet. They just do so much, picks up some extra money here, and this is a big swing back in the direction of Team Def.
It's a huge lack of damage there for the members of Team Faker as well. I mean, it's a TF with one item, and it's an Ezreal who's severely far behind. I mean, you're not really going to have enough to chip anyone down. Like, they nearly got Peter, which, by the way, it wasn't the best target, but it was the only one on vision for Faker, I believe, at that moment, who did gold card him. And that's what they had to work with, and it wasn't quite enough.
And by the time they get this mid turret, because they've been trying to put the pressure onto Chovy in the laning phase, and then in the mid lane, right? Like, or rather with the Herald in mid, trying to take out the turret. Okay, Morgan.
He does have flash. He's not even going to bother using it. He knows he's dead. No hope for him.
And this time the kill will go over to Dudu, but Chovy gets a whole turret, right? And this is the trade-off, right? This is what I was going to say is they put a lot of pressure on Chovy, but now he's equalized CS. Now he's taking a CS advantage. Now he's taking a kill and a whole turret. He's free farming in the side lane. Yeah, he lost his mid turret, but he's Kassadin. He's got high mobility. He's level 11. And that Rod of Age is going to help him hit those higher levels even faster. It's a little bit late, but better late than never. And now you've got some win conditions as Team Def. You have two Drakes. You have this Kassadin who's starting to come online. The insurance policy for the later parts of the game doesn't feel impossible. The game doesn't feel lost because you've got also this Kai'Sa that's super fed.
Yeah.
And I think some of the win conditions here for Team Faker are now falling by the wayside. You're really going to need to try to control side lanes with this Gwen if you can. Get her more fed. Use this Twisted Fate. Pick people off on the side lanes. Try to punish Chovy somehow. Because if he gets free farmed, it's looking good for Deft right now.
Yeah, he's already level 11. It's going to be a Rift Herald tier to the side of Team Deft. Chovy only having the one stack on the Rod of Ages, so maybe just a 15-minuter this time around. It's okay. You could tell he was stifled for farm. He'll get there eventually. Here's that second stack. So yeah, maybe 14-30. Still pretty good.
Yeah, seems so.
You saw Faker was trying to push that side lane. Definitely will have an option. You see even Dudu is roaming down towards the bottom side. Maybe they could try to bait Morgan in or something like that.
Notice the goal difference we've been talking about all game, 1,200 delete for Faker, despite a 0-0-2 scoreline versus a, Kassadin that's matching CS on one kill. It's just the Twisted Fate plus the Cull. But what he can do with that money when we get to the later parts of the game is not going to compare to if Chovy can have the right setup in these team fights, what he can do. Especially with the change to the E that you were talking about earlier in team fights itself. And now he's just gone over here to the top side. No punish yet. He's going to get a large portion of this turret's health. In fact, maybe all of it.
Does in a little bit of a wonky spot. Has to Heartbreaker over the wall, but he is being hounded down as the Romp is going for a little bit of a run as well.
And because of this commitment, Chovy gets free turret damage over here. Cuz gets away, yes, not for free. We'll have to expend his flash. But Chovy is just ticking the clock forward.
Hashtag worth.
Yeah, he's got the winder at the back, and he's setting the clock forward. One more level, one more level. Now we're getting to the scarier parts of the game as Chovy starts to get money online. That Chovy CS starts to show through. We'll get a free back here as well as delete a ton of the farm on the map.
Yeah. Still some of those win conditions you mentioned for the side of Team Faker, but definitely much more difficult to execute them from behind. You get a little bit less of a leash in the side lanes. You don't really have an Ezreal who's popping off in the 3, right? He's not getting huge amounts of damage done if he's not farmed up. And I think that Team Def are doing a really good job of controlling the tempo. They're really trying to push the envelope here. They already have the first couple of Drakes pretty early on. They're going to be in a good position here with the Rift Heralds coming in. It is a little bit early for the timing of the Drake, but still got a very nice chunk on the turret at least.
There's a lot of vision here. Notice the control wards left of pit in that brush that Dudu, or rather Morgan, looks like he just barely didn't stand on, and the one to the right side here. So a lot of angles for Faker to teleport to. Dudu can teleport flank.
Dudu?
Not if he dies.
Okay, I mean, he is a Gwen, but he is... I don't even know what to say. Like, he is miles down the lane. That is way too far.
This might just be impossible to recover from at this stage.
Yeah, that was definitely a pretty large mistake. And, you know, Cuz had one, but this time it's too stern, I suppose. Everybody gets a chance.
Morgan just Goomba stomped him, man. It was like plus 100 points.
Just way too far down the lane. Did not have enough control. Maybe considered that his team would come over and kind of help, and they would try to group up for the Dragon. But Team Deft, they found the opportunity, and they made the best of it.
That control worked right next to the Hex Gate, just to the right of where Viego is right now. Cuz I think is going to go clear it. Looks like he just barely missed it. That would have been an angle. You know, you have an angle as Dudu. You have Faker's ult plus 2 teleports here. Maybe try to look for a flank angle there, go on the edge, and try to wrap around. But Dudu was trying to be greedy here on the bottom side and clear this wave. So as a result, he gets punished, gets slowed by the smite. The follow-up from Deft is easy. Deft is so fed, and Morgan's just going to jump on his head. Not even necessary here. Deft's probably like, man, I would have liked that kill, but I guess you can have it. We're so far ahead in this game. This is not to mention Chovy is 5 stacks in. Already got a needlessly large rod.
Yeah.
What patch are we on with this Kassadin?
Yeah. This is a Kassadin's just, it's 10 out of 10 for him. Like, he is just having the time of his life right now. Like, he could not want anything else except maybe a slightly more free laning phase. Didn't even need it.
He's like, I'm not even hitting champions. I don't have my tier fully stacked.
Yeah.
I'm just killing minions. Takes a little bit longer to get that 360.
Yeah, this is like the perfect Chovy champion. Like, don't even team fight. Just farm in the side lane. Just don't even interact. And then eventually just show up and kill everybody after having the most farm in the game. He won't have the most farm in the game at this point. That goes to Deft, who is trying to carry Team Deft very hard in this one. That turnaround on the bottom side could be the big difference maker in this one. The Kassadin might not even be a big player in this game. You know, it might just be essentially over on paper before the Kassadin is even a factor.
I mean, it's second item Runans at this point. If Morgan has a good setup, or if they could trap these side laners, I mean, it just becomes so easy. Speaking of trapping.
Yeah, this is what this composition can do. They can collapse so quickly. Deft pretty far forward. This would be a shutdown. He goes into the cleanse, but it's not quite enough. That was incredibly deep for the side of Team Deft. And yes, they got the kill, but that is a massive sack of gold now into the hands of Faker with the shutdown.
This will save the turret here for Team Faker. Luckily for Deft's squad, the Drake is 3 minutes away still, so there's a lot of time to set up and prepare for that. And Chovy can just go straight back into side lane.
Little opportunity here. This miss is going to help him out, actually, as nice amount of Viper damage will come through, but is it enough is the question. The answer is no. Chovy is already getting in there and popping off. He just flashes back. He knows he's not going to need that. He's about to hit level 16, as that's a couple of kills now to the 3-0 Kassadin.
Full mana, easy setup, comes in with a punish. The mobility that Kassadin offers you with the amount of damage he has on this buffed Seraphs is just insane. And
he's already peaked.
like, this is a really big overextension here, because Willard can get so far away before that Nautilus ult goes off. The Deft has to chase deep, and then Faker comes over here. He's got his ult and the Everfrost. But then just backing in plain sight here is going to really come back to bite Team Faker. As Peter just kites away, and then Chovy's like, yep, no one's CCing me. There's an E, there's an R over the wall, powered auto, bam. Clean.
Viper, I thought that ult connected a little bit better. It actually only, I think, clipped Peter, or
looks like
perhaps Morgan. Like, it didn't even really connect, and he's pretty far behind. Like, he's got 2 items, so he's kind of shelling out some damage, but it's not necessarily the carry Ezreal that they need at this time.
It's Kraken Slayer Ezreal too, which I think, you know, considering the game state, in some ways is good because you need that extra big damage. You know, you're running a Twisted Fate, you need to hit those big autos, but it means that your damage output in team fights relies on hitting several autos. It's not as great as, you know, a lot of other builds for hitting Q damage. So Viper has to be up in the thick of things, which means he's in Chovy's Kassadin range. Chovy's about to hit 15, and there's 1 minute left on that timer for the Rod of Ages, and the Rod of Ages will shove that clock to 16, 1 extra hour forward.
Yeah, I think in about 25 minutes he'll hit it, as Beryl's trying to make something happen. There's so much pick potential on the side of Team Faker, but feels like desperation at this point. You're kind of clutching at straws. You're not really going to catch a Viego or a Nautilus at this point in time. They both still have their flash available. And Jovi's all 15. So here we go, 30 seconds.
30 seconds until that rod hits.
Set your timers, guys.
Yeah, this is...
Get your Monkas ready.
I mean, this is everything that Kassadin could be, right? And we were talking about how difficult it is to work in this comp, but when you get this much map control and every fight becomes a crazy skirmish where Kassadin has free reign, full mobility, he's super fed.
He's got he wants.
He has a stopwatch now. He's building towards the Zonias, which I don't know if he'll ever need to activate considering the game state. In about 5 seconds here, we're going to hit that rod timing. There it is.
It is.
Boom, 16. The clock has reached doomsday.
Here comes Chovy. He's just fearless. He's got to be a little bit careful. There's a lot of lockdown, but again, he has that stopwatch, and he's already done a nice amount of poke damage already. As here comes
Peter on the flank.
Nice buffer on that Dredge line. Got to be a little bit careful. He's going to take the gate here to come back to the team. Probably a good idea. No need to take risks. You are in such a comfortable spot here as Team Deft.
Deft just going to clear this wave. And he can sort of put some pressure on this turret, going to take it out.
So he's in the pit, and then he's out of the pit.
And so much mana, it doesn't matter that his ult costs a lot of it.
Yeah. Better. Trying to do that extra damage as in goes Barrel. They're trying to get the Wombo combo. Nice ultimate from Viper, but it's kind of... It just doesn't match the damage right now on the side here at Team Deft. Now, a decent amount of poke damage has gone down onto these members, but already it is 5v4 with Barrel going down.
Yeah, this is the scary part. Chovy.
Stun, in goes Deft as he is going to go invisible. They're trying to lock him down. The kick over the wall right into Viper. Not going to help him out at all as trying to teleport away, I believe, was Faker. And he is not going to get out of here either. That is going to be the X-Tech Soul. And that might just be game. I mean, they are so far ahead.
Yeah, wow, 2 back-to-back extremely one-sided games. We've traded it both sides here. Red side looking good right now. I mean, like, the crazy part about this is Chovy is isolated, right? And he's the one that they're like, okay, we might be able to focus him down. So much damage comes through here on the ult from Viper. And Chovy doesn't have to stopwatch. It's a crazy thing. Like, he's so vulnerable, but he's able to live so long. And everyone's at low health bars. Dudu can't close the distance. They want to focus down the Drake. Look at Chovy. He's like, nope, got my shield over the wall. And then this kick.
Yeah. not the best. And, I mean, Chovy did that into a gold card. Like, you know, the ref is holding up a yellow card, a gold card, whatever, and he just charges him. And it's essentially trying to open it up for Deft to just, of course, hop in and do what he did, which was quite a lot of boom boom. And, yeah, X-Tech Soul, Team Deft. Okay, trying to get on top of Deft himself.
I don't know if you want to be on top of Deft right now.
Yeah, Chovy just getting on in there as he does have Zonias now, and that is just going to open up this fight. Everybody's just going to be thrown into the bin, as that should be it. In comes Dudu. He's like, oh God, what happened here? The room's on fire. I've got pizza, but that's not going to feel too good. That is a clean sweep, and Team Deft will take this best of 3.
This time they got minions. There's no Victor walking out of the base this time around. Deft gonna stopwatch here as the minions approach. They can clear these turrets. Death time is super long, and looks like Deft has done it again. Defeated Faker one more time in another series here before the spring season starts. And Deft and crew are gonna get a set of